I've been very excited to do this video for quite some time, so hopefully it turns out good for the rest of y'all. Now, as wrestling fans, we all know this sport that we know and we love is known for quite a few things, and one of them is the larger-than-life personalities that we see in the wrestlers. Some of these personalities are realistic, kind of dull. Others are more colorful, kind of cheesy. Some of them are straight up creepy and kind of terrifying. So with Halloween season upon us and 31 days of horror taking place on CountCrewPublications.com, I thought it would be the perfect time to deliver a video on the 5 most creepy, scary wrestlers in wrestling today. Or fuck it, wrestling history. Let's go. First up, we have the man, the myth, the legend, the Undertaker. Started off as a mortician kind of character, quickly morphed into a zombie-like character where we wasn't sure if he was dead or not. Then he moved on to like a cult leader, sadist type of motherfucker, before morphing back into his undead zombie character, and then finally transitioning to a man who's feeling his mortality, but he's still hard to kill and put down for the 1, 2, 3. The Undertaker, no matter what character he's portraying, he's always a badass who brings those creepy vibes to the table. Even to this day, his interest alone is enough to invoke chills in viewers and opponents alike. I just recently did a review on a movie called The Undertaker, an old cheesy movie from the 80s, where I briefly mentioned how cool it would be to see WWE Studios produce a movie on the Undertaker character. Now, we know Taker's in his last days as far as being a performer goes, but an Undertaker movie that explores the origins and the backstory of the character would always be dope anytime, and that's something that I would always love to see. So, when you think about creepy wrestling characters, The Undertaker is always going to be at the top of the list. Next up, we have the devil's favorite demon, the big red machine, Kane. Of course, Kane will forever be connected to The Undertaker because they are, in fact, storyline brothers. And how can we ever forget Kane debuting in the first Hell in a Cell match, where he walked out with Paul Bearer and beat the shit out of The Undertaker. And lastly, The Undertaker, as you may recall, actually debuted as Kane the Undertaker. Despite that connection, Kane has carved out a very successful career as his own character with his own fascinating backstory. Now, as the fucking story goes, The Undertaker, being the big evil son of a bitch that he is, he set the crib on fire, killing both his parents and his younger brother in the fire, or so we thought. Somehow Kane survived and decided to settle the score in a wrestling ring. Now, all that sounds kind of cheesy, but the way the WWE portrayed Kane was not cheesy at all, because they knocked it at the park. He's going through all these incarnations with and without the mask, and I think they've more or less always done a pretty serviceable job of making him look like a very terrifying, disturbed creature with some fucking mental issues that would get most candidates barred from the mayoral race, but hey, it's wrestling. Kane really took another step towards creepydom when we got one of the first WWE studio movies, See No Evil. Now, of course, he wasn't playing Kane and shit. I forgot the name of the fucking character he was playing, but it was totally different. But we got to see what Kane could bring to the table in a way of acting chops and just being a big, imposing, menacing slasher type of motherfucker who just fits right into the horror genre. So, talking about terrifying characters, lore for lore, Kane is right up there with the very best of them. Next up is the Boogeyman. Now, I have to be honest, man, I was not feeling this character at all. I thought he was overly fucking cheesy. He never got a chance to really show what he could do in a ring because his whole character was just, it was just all gimmick and no fucking substance, pretty much, man. Shit was just, he pretty much became a joke character very quickly, man. However, I will say that his presentation, his entrance, all that shit with the worms and the moving like he having a fucking seizure and shit, that shit was executed pretty well. So they did a very solid job of at least making him look creepy. You had the red lights and you know, that made him look creepy. And of course, all his opponents, they sold it pretty well. Cats like Booker T being terrified of him and all that shit. So, hey man, so he may have sucked. He may not have had a very memorable career as far as winning championships, putting on classics, or stocking up accolades. But hey, Boogeyman was pretty creepy. Plus, he ate the bitch's Jillian Hall's fucking mole off her face, man. And if that ain't fucking creepy, I don't know what is. So, number 3, the Boogeyman. He's gonna get you. Next up, we have the man who was arguably the hottest act in all of pro wrestling. And I'm talking about Bray Devante Wyatt. Now, Bray's run from jobber enhancement talent, Jabroni, Husky Harris, and Nexus, to being the massively popular heel, face, or tweener Bray Wyatt has been nothing short of remarkable. Of course, he started off as like a backwoods hillbilly type of slasher type of character you might see in the Wrong Turn or Texas Chainsaw Massacre type of movie, where he was like a cult leader pretty much. Of course, he had his family with him. The most memorable group being Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. And we saw right away that Bray had the chops as far as delivering a memorable promo goes. The dude's got the gift of gab and shit. He's very talented with the stick. So he was very compelling right away on that tip. And I thought the original version of Bray Wyatt with the family, I thought that was executed to near perfection with the creepiness, the vignettes and shit. Even the little cheesy ass fucking compound match they did with the New Day, I think they was beefing with at that time. Yeah, man, I thought Bray Wyatt was done very well, man. Of course, people didn't take too kind of his losing streak. They said he was buried by John Cena and all this shit. And despite winning the championship from Randy Orton, he still hit like a tremendous low where he ended up tag teaming with Matt Hardy and getting washed in the lake of reincarnation and all that shit. Inevitably leading up to the character we have at the time of this video, and that would be Bray Wyatt slash The Fiend. Now I have to be honest when I say I haven't been keeping up with the weekly WWE product like I normally used to, or that I would like to, but I'm very aware of what's going on with The Fiend. Guess this is like his alter ego, or he becomes like this unstoppable fucking twisted evil killer clown type of entity motherfucker where you can't be stopped more or less and shit, as we saw from Hell in a Cell, where Seth Rollins pretty much performed the type of acts that will result in murder with most people, but Bray just, even when he wasn't jumping right off, he was kicking out at one, and at the end of the match and shit, he just shook it all off like just can't be stopped and shit. So I'm not sure how I feel about all that shit, but hey man, if you look at it from a character perspective and you tie it in with the Bray Wyatt that we already know, because a lot of that is still there despite the changes, I would say that Bray is definitely one of the creepiest characters to ever grace the wrestling industry, and there could be much more to come. Finally, we close out the list with the character who may be surprising to some to find on this list, and I'm talking about Samuel Shaw. Yes, I know he's in NXT under another name at this time, and I don't know the fucking name. Sorry, I don't know. But I know he's there, and I know he has a new name, and I know he's fucking retained a lot of those characters that were established in TNA. But since I haven't seen much of that, I can only go off of what I saw in TNA. And I thought Samuel Shaw was one of those cases where you say they dropped the ball with this guy. Of course, you never know what the fuck's going on backstage, or why they choose to go with a guy, or why not. But I thought Samuel Shaw was executed to near perfection as far as character development goes. He had that Dexter type of vibe and shit. Creepy ass kind, I guess you can say he's a handsome looking dude and shit, but he's obviously overly creepy and shit. Like a fucking Dexter meets Ted Bundy type of nigga and shit. Knocked it out the park with the angle where he was stalking Christy Hemme. Or he like had a fucking mannequin of the bitch backstage and shit. Like they went all out with the creepiness, man, and he killed it and shit. And of course this led to the infamous chant in the Impact Zone of creepy bastard. Creepy bastard. Yes. Whenever you hear that chant, you can't help but think of Samuel Shaw. I think Samuel Shaw belongs on this list because he's arguably the most realistic character we're talking about here. Undertaker, fucking undead zombie shooting lightning bolts out his ass. Bray Wyatt hit the nigga in the head with a sledgehammer, he just shake it off. But creepy motherfuckers, they are very real, and they can be very terrifying when you're the object of their fucking creepiness. So Samuel Shaw, hope he's not a creepy nigga in real life, because he makes that shit look very, very fucking convincing. And aside from the character work, I think he's a very solid wrestler in the ring, and I hope he gets to show some of that in NXT and eventually on the main roster. So we'll see how all that goes. So there you have it, my top 5 the creepiest wrestlers in wrestling today / history. Let me know what you think. Who would you add to this list? What do you have to add to the conversation? Don't be scared to holler at us. Peace.